Okay, now I'm going to do a little bit of cutting out of images from Photoshop. In other words, we have one layer, and I want to be able to cut out and select various portions so that I can then manipulate this in other interesting ways. So this is Photoshop, and what I want to do first off is take a look at this layer over here where it has a lock button. By default, the main layer is going to be locked. So what I typically do is to make sure that this one, I could always go back to my original, is I'm going to duplicate this layer. And down here, you're going to see other tools here. This one here is going to be for creating a new layer. So I'm going to take this and just drag it onto here, and that's the way you duplicate layers, or one of the ways. Okay, and so I'm going to be hiding one of them so that I can always have that one as a backup in case I need to return to my original. And so I'm going to click on the word layer, double click on the word layer, and just change the name of this so it doesn't just say layer 1. I want it to say penguin. Okay, and what I want to do now is I want to select. Now last time I showed you we have a bunch of different tools on the left hand side here, and we have the quick selection tool, the magic wand tool, and sometimes they work fine. So let's go ahead and select the magic wand first. If I just click on this, you'll see these marching ants going along here. Okay, but you could also see that it doesn't do a great job in these areas here. If I hit the delete button, you can kind of see what got selected, and that's not terrible because I can come back and fix that if I want to. But what I really want to do, I'm going to undo that and hit Command D to deselect, is I want to show you another way of selecting in Photoshop. Okay, and this is the way I typically do things when I am working in an environment where I want to remove an object from a background. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the pen tool. All right, but before I do that, let's go to the pen tool. Now, a lot of people make a mistake when they do this is they make too many dots. So they might go like this all along here and do this kind of thing. That is bad. Okay, the more dots you have, the more problems you're going to have in dealing with them, and you're going to get some weird, strange artifacts. So let's go ahead and undo that. So I'm going to start again, and the way you really want to do this is you basically make a dot wherever there's a major change, and don't worry that you're cutting off pieces at the moment here. Okay, so I'm just going to go around here and make as few dots as I can get away with, and then I'm going to show you how to fix these selections later on. Sometimes the selection tools that you have available to you are fine, like the magic wand and the other ones here, but honestly I don't have a lot of success with these things, and this one, once you get good at this, if you're an Illustrator user, once you get good at this, you'll find that this is a really simple way to do things, and there's so many other tools that use a similar sort of selection that it's a good thing to practice and get used to doing. Okay, and when you get to the last dot, notice how it changes to a little circle. Okay, that closes the path. All right, and I'll talk about paths when we're done cleaning this up. The next thing I want to do is, if you see there's a little triangle here. So if I hold that in, I get this convert point tool. And that's what I'm going to be using to deal with this. The convert point tool, notice that it changes from a white arrow. When I put it over one of these dots, it changes to that triangle. Okay, but first I'm going to go to the zoom tool and just zoom out so I can see better about where I'm working on. And so this is the way you want to kind of see the things closer. And so now I go to the convert point tool, and when I put the cursor over the guy's dot here, and I'm holding in the command button. Actually, I'm just going to hold in no buttons at the moment. And notice that it makes this thing called a Bezier curve. All right, I'm going to undo that so you can see. This is called a Bezier curve. Okay, and when you bring it from the middle, it has two handles on either side of it. Okay, and once I let go of one of them, then I can either select just one angle and notice that it doesn't do anything to the other side of it. And that's kind of what I want to have happen. and then this side I can do individually. If I want to change this, if I want to select just this one dot and move it, I'm putting the cursor on top of the dot so that I see that angle. I hit the command button, and now I can move that individual dot. I let go, and now I have my convert tool, and so now I have my Bezier curves. So basically I'm going to go around the whole penguin here and just try to make a good selection. And it might seem really tedious thing to do. I actually kind of find this to be a little bit somewhat therapeutic. That's just me. And we're going to go through this line by line and try to make sure that there's no blue or very little blue in there, okay? And if you click away, just go back, click on the dot on the line, and then you'll get your dots back. And I want to just, basically every dot you make you kind of have to deal with, otherwise you're going to get a little jagged angle. Can you see how that's like a weird angle? Well, that's going to show up in your project file, and so you don't want that weird unnatural angle. You want it to be rounded, like, you know, the shape of the penguin here. And so I hold down the command button to move this, and I'm just going to click and drag just to kind of round it off, and then maybe I'll come and move it a little bit. I hold down the hand button so that I can kind of just, the hand button allows me to then just move the whole picture along. Hold down command. Now I'm going to click and drag this bulge coming here with this penguin guy here, and so I might need to kind of adjust the individual handles. You see, like by selecting each side of the handle I can create a different shape. Alright, and that's kind of what I'm going to do here. Okay, hold down the hand button, and we're going to work. And if you need to create a new dot, you can always come back in here and go back to your pen tool, and notice how it changes from a star. When I go over the line, it changes to the little plus sign. That gives me a new dot. Then I can go back into my convert point tool, and I'm going to hold down the command button to make it go around this guy's flipper. Here's another one. And I just took a handle this time because I want to leave one side alone. And here we have this strange little shape around here, and so I'm going to just go ahead and select that and move it around. And I can see that this one here is not a great place there, so let's go ahead and move that. Hand button. Alright, let's keep working around here. And here I have this strange little shelf, so you don't have to be, no one's going to know what you've cut out as long as it's not, it doesn't have a strange angle going to it. And let's go and select that. And see, now you can see why if you make too many dots, then it gets really complex, because then you have to deal with every single one of these dots. So you want to make as few dots as possible and work your way around your subject.